Google Fi subscriber you have called is not available. Please leave a message after the tone.
Hey Neil, it's Sean Schwartz. I would really love to talk to you if you got the time. A lot of bad stuff has transpired since I spoke with you last, obviously. I've been doing my best, but shit, dude, I needed people to come forward. I wanted to talk to you about Starbucks and who I used to be before all this happened, because, like, you guys all knew me, you know? You and Laura and Miss Bobby and Mary and, you know, all these Facebook bans been preventing me from getting a hold of you, and I scrolled up until I found your phone number. There's a lot of important evidence there, so it was important, but I needed to talk to you. My phone number is, if you give me a call back, that would be great. Thank you, Neil. Bye. I'm hoping that's still his number. Neil's a pretty alright guy. When I hurt my back, he wasn't working at Starbucks anymore, but he came back into my life at that point, and he did some good things, you know? I mean, he wasn't a piece of trash. He tried to understand. He fights for our rights just like Darren does. He does it differently, but that's a good point to be made, you know? We all do things a little differently, and it depends on where we're at in life. A lot of these people couldn't help. It's not that they didn't want to. They couldn't. Neil was sick. He was tired. His girlfriend was sick, and she was tired. And, you know, I've been going through and taking screenshots of phone calls with a lot of people, or text messages with a lot of people. You know, I got a lot of time on Facebook bans, so I got a lot of time to scroll through and take pictures. Most of these folks, they're not bad people. Even the ones that fucked me over, they're not bad people. They did bad shit, you know? They didn't understand, and they weren't willing to understand, which really is what would make them bad people. But then, like, with Miss Jerry, for example, when I got my teeth yanked out, and I was just, you know, reading what me and Ryan James were texting, you know, it's got me talking about how I see Natalie die when I go to sleep, and a lot of other fucked up situations. It also shows that he's not actually gay like he pretended to, and, you know, I didn't scroll all the way back. There's some stuff in there that, you know, it's pretty embarrassing, you know. Me and him, pretty open, you know. We could talk about a lot of shit back in the day. But, you know, there's stuff that just has absolutely nothing to do with the case. It has nothing to do with the Bollingers. It has nothing to do with anything other than Ryan having urges. So, I mean, it's not what you might think it would be, you know. It's, for the most part, me and Ryan arguing. A lot of that is because he wanted to throw it in my face that I was still where I was 7 years prior. But he didn't pay any attention to the fact that, well, I passed out blankets, including to Ryan, for those 7 years. Also the fact that my back was screwed up and that I had a job. I lost my job because my back was screwed up. Fuck, you know, so goes life. I love these people, you know. I love Miss Jerry and I love her kids. But at the same time, I couldn't get past Lana's assumptions. I want to show you something here. Fucking goddamn it. That 1 terabyte thing that Lana and Amanda had. I have it. I have it here with me. It's huge, and I haven't gotten it to work. I don't have the parts to make it work. This is it. It's huge. Now they say there's a lot of information on it, but it's missing the important parts that make it work. It needs a 12 volt DC with a funky plug-in. And then there's this other thing, I don't know what the hell it is, but it's like a 4-prong phone jack. Now when I was at Lana and Amanda's, they didn't have the parts for it. I was like, well, if you don't have the parts for it, how am I supposed to make it work? And this is the day before I left, you know. So I go to Miss Jerry's, and she says that she thinks she might have a cord for it somewhere. And she's wanting me to take this thing and work on it. I'm at her house. Or at her daughter's apartment, I should say. Her daughter's name is Jennifer. And I'm trying to figure out how to fucking explain to her, hey, Miss Jerry, you just told me that you don't have the parts to make it work, or you think you have the cord to make it work, but you're not sure where it's at, and you're not willing to look for it. You don't have the 12 volt DC jack. So, yeah, how am I supposed to work on this stuff? I had my Facebook shut down at the time to preserve evidence, because people were going out of their way to destroy evidence, put me on Facebook ban. Believe it or not, I was put on Facebook ban at the time for, well, a post that I had made while I was in Montana, or in South Dakota, visiting Miss Jamie, where I said that I could not bring myself to kill James Payton. Despite what he had done, I just couldn't do it. And, so they were trying to destroy evidence. I was pretty pissed off. I was pretty sure that it was the Paytons doing it, but Amanda Engeline said that it was probably Jamie doing it. She also said that Jamie was back with James and a bunch of other shit that ended up being bullshit. Now, another thing that I noticed was that Miss Jerry was posting up a bunch of stuff about how she's not racist. Basically, she was posting up a bunch of civil rights shit that hadn't previously been her forte. Basically, the whole fucking situation up there in Montana was a setup. And I don't want to be an asshole about it, but goddamn, yeah, it was. I mean, Lana and Amanda don't have the parts for this thing, but somehow they managed to get a bunch of information on it without the parts required to make it work, without the 12 volt DC, and without the cord that attaches to it. And then Miss Jerry, she's pestering me and hounding me at her place about using this thing in specific. Meanwhile, I'm not able to play video games, you know. I'm still trying to download it. It's taken for fucking ever. And I'm like, you know, just let me finish downloading this video game. That way I'll at least have something on my computer that doesn't require the internet in order to run it. And that way, if I'm overwhelmed, I can sit down and I can slaughter some Gaul, or, well, actually it was Samurai Total War, so it wouldn't have been the Gaul. It would have been like the Aiko Aiko clan or something like that, you know. But it's a video game. And that's something that Amanda was very pissed off about, apparently, after I left. Now, while I was there, they were all fine with me downloading the video game. But then after I left, they went out of their way to play fucking victim and so on and so fucking forth. Miss Jerry even typed to me that I attacked her daughter. Now, I didn't attack her daughter. I begged her daughter to kill me for the same reason that I beg everyone else to kill me. I need your help. I need you to listen. Miss Jerry didn't make time to listen. Her daughter said that she would listen to me if I called her. So I called her, and she wasn't answering, and, you know, I felt abandoned, and I felt I felt shitty. Now, Miss Jerry and Lana and Amanda and all of them, I'd gotten rid of them while I was in Virginia over a racist post. And I was able to finally get back a hold of Amy Valkyrie. She's the young lady who was arguing with Miss Jerry and Tyler and all them on that Facebook post with Colin Kaepernick. And Amy Valkyrie, after Natalie disappeared, but before they caught the guy who killed her, Amy was pretty pissed off at me, unfriended me. She assumed the same shit everybody else did. But I was able to get back a hold of her, and I asked her what, had all transpired there that she could remember. She said she didn't remember much, but that she had said he wasn't when I was explaining to her that, they're not really racist. She's like, well, yeah, they're not really racist, they're just fascist. So, the thing is that these are all things that actually happened. Like, I was doing my best to try to hold myself together. And that's the thing. These people could have talked to me like I'm a human being. They wouldn't. I'm completely alone. I need people to come forward and be honest. Like Ryan James and Jerry Sparks and Lana Engeline. And fuck, it was a big, giant, goddamn mess. And I want to believe that it's just my paranoia. I always want to believe that I'm just being paranoid, but if you're right, is it still paranoid? That's the important question there. These people stabbed me in the back like you wouldn't believe. Here I am going through hell. These guys understand that texting me is fucking cruelty. And they go out of their way to tear me down in texting. And it's fucked up. Like, when I was at Amy and Andrews in Bayard, Nebraska. This is prior to Natalie's death. When I got a hold of Miss Natalie, and I'm trying to let her know what's going on, and she's accusing me of being a meth head. Like, fuck no. Fuck no. Here I am in a meth house. Not literally a meth house. Andrew's on meth, Amy's not. And I got this little tweaker girl who I'm trying to get to call off a bunch of tweakers calling me a tweaker. It's fucking insane. And the thing is, everything was done to try to paint me as a violent person, as a terrible person. And at no point in time were any of my public pretenders willing to do their goddamn jobs. Like, any fucking idiot could defend me in these cases. They're literally going out of their way not to defend me, not to do their jobs, to make every excuse not to. And I'm like, you know what? It don't matter how nice you play, how nice you pretend to be. It's fucking bullshit. It is. Literally, it's bullshit. These people are horse turds as well as bullshitters. Is literally the right word to use in that particular context. No, it's not. But I'm fucking overwhelmed. My words don't come together right. I'm remembering 10,000 things at once. And I gotta try to keep it sorted, which is easy when I'm in a safe environment. When I'm not in a safe environment, fucking clutter like this, it doesn't work out. Like right now I should have my computer out and I should be typing. The problem is, if I do that, it's gonna probably get me in trouble. Because first of all, I'm parked at the Starbucks parking lot. And second of all, I'm gonna end up typing until the computer dies on its own. And I won't have it saved. And I'll be fucking frustrated. And I'll be having panic attacks about that. And like, it's difficult for me to process all of these things. Now, everywhere that I went, I had to deal with screamers. Lana, not so much. I mean, she did scream a bit while I was there, but mostly it was just throwing temper tantrums and snapping at people. She always described her problem with her brain, and that's what she called it, a problem with her brain where there's spots and holes in it. Now there's a video from the center here where it's a housing place that I went to. And the deal that I made for going to this place and what it actually ended up being when I got there were two completely different scenarios. But there's a woman there with MS as well, and she was describing it the same way. She said, I got, spots and holes on my brain. I said, oh, you have MS. I only knew that because of Lana Engelheim. Matter of fact, after the argument that we had up there, or the fucking texting thing when I was on the bus out of Montana, like, yeah, I'm arguing with Lana. At that point, I didn't even know she had MS. She had only ever described it as spots on the brain or holes in the brain. So then I made a video about it, like Lana has holes in her brain. And she was like, I have MS, asshole! Well, you never said you had MS. You said you have spots and holes in your brain. So you're being an asshole to me over something that you said. But that situation was a straight setup. The other thing is, with all the fucking bullshit that they were pulling and the stuff I found out later, I trusted Miss Shelley. I gave her all of my friends' phone numbers who could explain to her what the fuck is going on. All of them. I gave her Lana's phone number. I gave her Amanda's phone number. I gave her Miss Jerry's phone number. I gave her Candace's phone number. I'm trying to help these people out. I'm trying to help find the guy who fucking killed Natalie, and it's just a giant fucking mess, I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? But then again, Candace was talking about if one of Ted's fucking buddies wants to come through the door. And this is what she's worried about. She's worried about Ted coming through the door, or one of his cronies. She didn't realize that what she needed to be worried about at that point was the blue line of bullshit. Cops protect cops. If a cop breaks the law, the other cops look the other way. Now, there's an officer friend of Miss Peaches named Louise. And Brittany Louise. And I got some text messages between her and I that really shows that I'm not full of shit. The blue line of bullshit. She calls it the blue line of silence. And she says, yeah, the blue line of silence is a real thing. It's not just the blue line of silence. It's that the fact that these officers aren't being silent. They're being cruel. They're being evil. They're being mean. They're being vindictive. Now, the reason that I needed somebody to go in with me to speak to the police is because of the shit that they pulled. The exact stuff that I was afraid of them doing if I went in alone. They did when I went in alone. They didn't record it, which they should have. And then they lied on documents. And in addition to lying on the documents, they omitted so much fucking information. But because I don't have the money for a lawyer, it's okay. Because the Bollingers played victim, it's okay. The fact is, I told the truth about what these people were up to. I needed an honest day in court, and it needed to be the civil court. Because in the civil court, I can show all of the shit that the Bollingers and their friends are up to. Unfortunately, the judge in that case is the same judge who fucked up on Natalie's protection order and the things that were put on that protection order. This is negligence by that very same judge. I had already said that I was coming after that judge in court for the things that he had done. He was very, very invested in the things that he did. Now, there's a guy here at the Starbucks. His name is Jason. I'm at the Starbucks on 21st and Central in Cheyenne, Wyoming. Jason was a former police officer in Colorado. There's several people who have come in who were police officers in Colorado. They don't have anything nice to say about the police in Colorado. It's corrupt. I don't know Jason's last name, but I'm going to try to get it. Yeah, I shut down a lot, and I'm sorry for that. I say a lot of really mean things. I really do. But at the same time, I needed somebody to look at this evidence instead of allowing these things to continue as long as they have. With Miss Peaches, I'm still miffed at her, you know. I mean, but it's not all her fault. I mean, she's a mom. She's taking care of her kids. She's going to work. She's trying to keep her vehicle together. And with all the court shit that I was going through, we just couldn't meet up our fucking schedules. And it sucked. You know, I needed to be able to go in and make a report and have the police actually do their fucking jobs, which if it's just you and you're homeless, they're not going to do their jobs. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to do whatever it is that makes it okay that they did what they did. Now, I explained to the officers why I did what I did, why I threatened the President of the United States. And that stuff they didn't put on my court work or my paperwork. They omitted evidence. They omitted evidence which made them doing wrong. The evidence that they omitted allowed them and the Bollingers to frame me for things that I did not do. I was not trying to kill anyone. I was not threatening to kill the Bollingers. I was threatening to kill the people who had threatened to kill my family. And I was threatening to take the Bollingers to court. Now, if you look through all the shit that I posted already, and the stuff that I'm collecting now, it's obvious I'm trying to get a goddamn court date. And they did everything in their fucking power to prevent me from doing that. Not only that, the Bollingers, the judge, these police officers, all have motive for committing their crimes. And people could have come forward, they just didn't, because they're a bunch of fucking pussies. Meanwhile, they want to call me a pussy while they're hiding behind each other. You should fear me. You should fear my voice. But more than that, you should fear the fact that I don't give a fuck about the law anymore. The thing that keeps me from killing people is the fact that it's fucking wrong, you morons.